Welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020, as we're continuing our WCW 2001 series. Now 2003 is running towards Halloween Havoc, and again, one more check-in for you. So, if you want to file for the Mayhem Tournament Pick'em, which includes lots of prizes, well, not 3 prizes, which includes, being able to book a title match, being able to book a pay-per-view match for Nitro, pushing and de-pushing people on the roster, bringing up people on the current dev roster, dev signings and other fun stuff, go ahead and go to the address you see here, which is challengecallonge.com/2003mayhem, or just follow the link that'll be on this video or in the Reddit post, and go ahead, fill it out, sign up, and again, either sign up, with an email, or if you don't want to, if you want to use a throwaway email, just include your Reddit username or some way to contact you in the name of your production. But that's it for the moment, so be right back with actual Nitro. So we've got Nitro live from the Kanyon Dome in beautiful Lafayette, Louisiana, and we start out with a pre-show match where we have a pre-show match that had terrible wrestling and Noxus and crowd heat to the Roman Legion of Jonathan Toro, Romeo Lavernus, also known as Kid Romeo, and Swinger Pomponius, also known as Johnny Swinger, defeats Blitzkrieg Yang and Teddy Hart in 1304 when Toro pinned Blitzkrieg. Just so you know, Toro is the new TV champion after defeating Jiri, basically what people would know as last week on Saturday night. So big win for Toro. But overall, this gets a 60, Hart gets a 67, Yang gets a 57, Blitzkrieg gets a 54, Swinger gets a 41, Romeo gets a 42, and Jonathan Toro gets a 51. So good stuff. And we start to open up with a big sort of promo. So basically what happens here is Eddy starts off, in the ring, coming to the ring, getting the pop from the crowd. He says, he's glad that he's getting closer to home every single week, and he's glad, that Halloween Havoc will be in Texas, which, is a great state. Get some extra sponsors in Louisiana. Come on, we're not that bad. And more importantly, Holmes, I have pride in my heritage. I have pride for wrestling all over this world, and all over this world, I've wanted to be a champion where I am. I will never give up. I know Deadpool have done crazy things before, but I've faced craziness before. I've seen wild things before. I've wrestled all over the world, and I've seen things you wouldn't believe. So do whatever you want. I'll still be here. And Halloween Havoc, Vampiro, you still got to face me one-on-one in that ring. Then basically the Turner-tron, or WCW-tron, whatever you call it, comes up, and basically we see the Deadpool sort of like in darkness, but then it becomes obvious that they're sort of in the Guerrero's training center. Just we see like pictures of the Guerreros from the 80s, they're like sombreros and bandoleros. We see Eddie as Black Tagger, and they're like, Vampiro basically goes, "It's interesting that you keep on talking about your support from the fans when those same fans, including many in that building right now, lovingly booed your uncles, insulted him with things that I won't even say on television, and more importantly, never gave them a real shot. Meanwhile, I came down to Mexico and became a champion and was embraced by the fans. What does that say about these lovely American fans you love so much, Eddie?" And then, Morningstar steps in. "Remember, Guerrero, the devil knows what you feel, what you've done, and the mix you've made all over this world. And this is just the beginning of your repayment for them." And then, everybody steps in, after some more, back and forth. "You have to remember, Guerrero, the Deadpool exists not for this title, but because this title has power, and we are reckoning, and you're just in the way. Nothing personal. Yet." Thing pops off, and there we go. 94. Really good. This is actually surprisingly good, because, sort of, this is sort of like had a slow build so far since Eddie won the number 1 contendership, but this really, kicks stuff in the gear as we head towards Havoc in what would be, I'm terrible at math. 13 days after this? Yeah, 13 days. So this gets a 94. Really good stuff. And then we move on to our opening tag match, as in bout had terrible wrestling and Noxus and crowd heat. Angel Fox and Beth Phoenix defeated Gail Kim and Lexi James in 901 when Angel Fox pinned Gail Kim with the Angel Snap. This gets a 58. Beth is at a 43. Angel Fox is at a 54. Lexi James is at a 53. Gail Kim is at 62. So basically matches, back and forth. But again, basically, Gail Kim, doesn't really, walk away, but she sort of, just doesn't really help Lexi as Angel hits the big Angel Snap, which I think I talked about as some sort of modified DDT thing, and Angel gets a big pinfall victory, a couple, a week and change before her big match with Gail Kim for the TV title, for the Women's World title. So, but Gail Kim, it shows that she's doesn't really care about this match. As Fox is celebrating, Gail Kim gets on the top rope from behind and nails her with Eat Defeat, and basically stares down here with a sneer. This gets a 60, good solid stuff. Then we have backstage where Eric is in his office, and RVD comes in still upset after last week and says he wants a match versus Kanyon tonight. Bischoff says, "Rob, I understand what you're saying, but I have duties about this company, and you versus Kanyon is a big pay-per-view match, so we can't have that." But, and then we sort of fade away as Bischoff lays out something. So this gets an 83, and it sort of sets up something for later. Then we come back for commercial, where basically Awesome and Kidman do a promo, focusing on tonight that Awesome is teaming up with AMW to take on OHara and Jet in London, and that, Awesome, they remind him that, we're here to make a stand for ourselves, that, Kidman's the actual future of World Championship Wrestling, not John O'Hare, and that Lance Storm is a failure as a techno wrestler. Well, Kidman is truly, great at that, and Awesome's just like, Awesome's just here to kick ass. 67, perfectly solid stuff. Awesome's not the best promo guy, so there you go. Then we actually have that match. So in a bout that had good wrestling and distraction from the crowd, Mike Awesome and America's Wanted using Jason Jett, Paul London, and Sean O'Hara in 11:48, when Sean O'Hara was disqualified when Lance Storm ran in and attacked Mike Awesome. So basically what happens here is it's back and forth match, 6-man wild, and O'Hara's getting offense when Lance Storm comes in and just super kicks Mike Awesome right in the middle, like right in front of the ref. Obviously, there's a DQ, and there you go. So this gets a 79. O'Hara gets a 91. Jesus. London gets a 71. Jason Jett gets a 65. Mike Awesome gets a 75. James Storm gets a 66, and Chris Harris gets a 65. So yeah, and then afterwards, basically, Awesome and Storm fight. O'Hara gets involved, and sort of, and there's sort of a stare down as Storm tries to explain why he was going after Awesome to O'Hare. And this gets an 81 as we sort of continue that feud. Then we go backstage where basically, Eddy is basically heading towards the, Eddy is heading towards outside of, heading out towards the security door. And he's basically stopped by Chuck and Booker. Booker's like, "Brother, I understand what you're going through. These assholes have gone after me, have attacked me, but we got a match tonight, and we can take them apart in the ring. So think of everything they said, Sucka, and put it on them tonight, and then put it on Havoc like I'm going to tear apart Morningstar, okay?" And Eddy sort of agrees, and there you go. 80 short promo, but sets up the main event is Eddy and Booker versus Vamp and Morningstar. Then we have basically Kanyon's out there in the ring. He says Eric told him to come out here for a match, and then RVD says basically says, "Well, I can't wrestle you tonight, but I can bring out a good friend who's ready to kick your ass," and out comes Jiri. This gets 72 as rest, and let's just go from here that both RVD and Jiri, of course, wrestled in ECW together. So then we have the match where, Jesus, wow, okay, this was fucking awesome. I forget sometimes Jiri's real good. Anyway, and about had great wrestling and good heat. Kanyon defeated Jiri in 14:32 by pinfall, just with a Northern Light suplex. So basically what happens, back and forth match, Jiri does his best. RVD attacked Kanyon, well, there's a rough bump, but then Lawler also nailed Jiri. So basically what I see the finish is, Jiri hits the mist, Lawler, Joni comes in, goes after him, he gets distracted, long enough for Kanyon to basically get, wipe his eyes out, and hit the big suplex to get the pinfall victory. So this gets a 90, because Jesus Christ. Kanyon gets a 95. Jiri gets a 65, and wow. And of course, then we have a Kanyon RV showdown, which gets a 71. So basically, them just staring down and yelling at each other. So then we go backstage where basically Jared and Douglas are talking to anybody who will, ask them about how they took care of Columbo last week, and Rick won't even have to worry about having a match at Havoc. And basically her see an air raid come in and says, we're fighting each other at Halloween Havoc, but we're not assholes, so we're not attacking each other. But actually, we talked to Chuck on the phone today, and yes, officials kept him off Nitro this week, but next week he's happy to tag with a member from each of our teams to face you guys next week and Flair. Jared and Douglas are like, fine. Only reason you beat us, and he points to air raid is you got lucky, and I'm sure we've kicked your little asses before. And there we go. 76. Jared probably says slap nuts at some point, and there we go. Then in a squash match, Bill Goldberg defeats Mark Jindrak in 6-16 by pinfall to jackhammer. Goldberg gets a 91, Jindrak gets a 62. So basically, like, this isn't quite a total squash, as Jindrak is a mid-carder, so he gets some, like, basic load offense in, but again, it's Goldberg, so he squashes him. 76, actually really good for a squash. And then we have our post-match segment, where basically Mesias comes in, and just drills him with a choke slam to hell in the middle of the ring, and stands over him, and this gets an 86. And now, I believe it's main event time. Yeah, so, actually kind of, I'll have to double check what's going on with that. So in an exceptional match, Morningstar and Vampiro defeated Booker T and Eddy in 1946. When Morningstar pinned Booker T with a handful of tights, what actually happened is Morningstar pins Booker T with the angel wings on the chair, while Eddy and Vampiro brawl on the outside. So Eddy gets an 89, Booker gets an 88, Vampiro gets an 89, Morningstar gets an 82. So let me see here. Why did this not do? Okay. No morale for Vampiro, inconsistency, Booker T, inconsistency. Okay, so just inconsistency, I guess. And then we have our big post-match angle. As basically what happens is Booker is out in the ring after getting nailed with angel wings on the chair. And, Eddy is obviously fighting with Vampiro, but out comes Lestat. He still fights him. And then Booker... and then we have Mesias comes out and a 3-1 beatdown. Chavo tries to make a save as well, but he gets not killed as well, as the show basically ends with both Eddy and Chavo down in the ring, Booker on the out, and Deadpool standing tall. So that gets an 87. And overall, the show itself gets an 87. Really good stuff. So we'll see what Raw did, and then I've got a couple other things to check. Just to go over a couple things, because some interesting things happened, some by my hand and some the actual AI did. So this is still rolling. So let's check out Raw. Okay. First email. Okay, yeah. So first let's look at Raw. Okay, so we got Triple H mocked Chris Jericho, Undertaker Kurt Angle, Lee defeating Selene Majors, Chris Jericho squash, DDP and Bump and Grind defeated Kevin Nash and TNA, Rock interview, which I'm going to have to... Rock finally came back and got signed, so yeah. Anyway, Triple H squash, Steve Austin interview, Stephanie McMahon interview, Big Show defeats Billy Gunn, Kurt Angle defeats Randy Orton, and Steve Austin and The Undertaker defeat the APA. Okay. So not their best show, but they still got enough big matches to get a 92 versus our 87. So 2 things to show you guys real quick. So first, New Japan. So New Japan, if we look at their stables, they used to have a stable called... I guess they totally... Oh yeah, I didn't realize that got, interesting. Okay, anyway, so they had a stable that I created, basically because to create the right actual stables, it was Battle on Ending, and it was basically all the MMA guys. It includes, like, Ogawa, Ken Shamrock, etc. Anyway, so they had their, that's events and TVs. So they had one of their big shows, Ultimate Crush 2. So the interesting thing is, so you had Hase Nagata, Chono, Tanahashi having the best match on the show versus Azuka. But anyway, the big thing is Bat, which was Muto and Kia, defeated Shamrock and Ogawa in a sort of like random tag match. Now you're asking me, Jesse, why are you showing us this? Well, on the same day that happened, the little announcement came up in the news ticker that in New Japan was like disbanding that stable, Battle on Ending. So for once, the AI booking actually worked out. Like, I can imagine, basically Bat and Battle Ending had a feud. They had a, losers must break up match, and Bat won. So good on the AI. So the other thing that happened that I basically did is, I don't know if you know mid-2000s wrestling history, basically, Dragon Gate was originally Toramon. So yeah, as it says, Tournament was named during Professional Wrestling School and the Associated Wrestling Promotion. So basically what happened in late 2004 or late 2003 is there was like basically a feud, real life feud between Ultimo Dragon and sort of like the newer rising younger wrestlers like Sima and Ryo Sato and other guys like that. And what happened was that basically Ultimo Dragon left the left the company and eventually turned it so eventually everybody else created Dragon Gate. So the interesting thing is I can't really do that. That doesn't really work in the game. But what I did do was basically I had created, I went in as SEMA. I let go of Ultimo Dragon, and then what I also did was close down Toryumon Mexico because it was a child company, and I also ended the Ultimo Dragon Gym because those were both owned by Toryumon Japan. But then what I did was I created Toryumon X, which is basically the same promotion, but with Skate as the owner, as he was in real life, and Ultimo Dragon as the booker. And what I did is I moved over everybody who was basically under a developmental contract over to this new company, and recreated Ultimo Dragon Gym, and I moved over the titles that were part of that company as well. So there you go. So yeah, probably way too much work to do, but that's me, a wacky guy who enjoys this thing where I care about quasi-realism way too much. Again, just check out our storylines. Flair Palumbo is at an 88. Cruiserweight's at a 66. Goldberg, Booker T, Morningstar, Mesias is at an 85. Helms, the sort of undercard, Cash and Reno versus Dustin and Conan is at a 73. Kanyon RVD is at an 87. The Kidman and Awesome versus Storm and O'Hara feud is at 79. The tag team feud is at 78. The Helms, Sting, Ray Jr. feud is at 79. Vin Pro Eddie is at an 85. And the women's title feud is at a 57. So, solid stuff. And, I think things are going pretty well. We're heading into Havoc, which again, pre-booking. We've got the tag title match, Goldberg versus Mesias, Booker T versus Morningstar, Palumbo versus Flair, the women's title match, the three-way Cruiserweight title match, Ray Jr. versus Helms, RVD versus Kanyon, the big tag match between O'Hara and Storm versus Awesome Kidman, and of course a world title match of Vampiro versus Eddie. But yeah, that's basically it as far as that goes. But again, I realize I'm pushing this a lot, but I really want people to sign up. Again, even if you haven't been completely following the save, just go ahead, sign in, make your predictions. Maybe you'll get lucky. But even if you only watched a couple of my videos, you should be able to figure out who I'm pushing, who I'm not pushing, etc., etc. But again, again, part of this why I'm doing this is I want some outside people sort of making me do things. Pushing me, making me push certain people, de-push certain people, bring people up who I might leave in dev too long, sign random people for dev feds, etc., make random matches, just because it puts me a little bit out of my element. And again, that'll be open till basically the first Raw after Havoc, so if you know my posting, so we've got one more week of Nitro, because this is how Halloween Havoc, so we have 5 weeks of build, then we have Havoc, and then we have Nitro, so what I might do is push, basically, so I'll probably post the Go Home show on Monday, Havoc on Wednesday, and I might push the first show of November out to next Monday or something like that. I'll figure all that out, fun stuff, as we go along. But then once that in, as long as, what I'm looking for is at least 5 signups to sort of give out stuff. If necessary, I'll go with only 3 or 4 signups. And of course, if we get 10, there's a random thing I'm doing where an additional prize is let out. But, that's it for now. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below when you're enjoying or not enjoying, and subscribe to the channel for lots of TEW 2020 content, including this, my MLW 2004 Ruthless Aggression save, WCW 1999 with no Eric Bischoff, and lots of other fun stuff I'm going to attempt to do. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios.